Good morning. This is Lady Danny, and today we are in the kitchen because one of the things that I promised you a while ago was I was going to do a really quick scope on how to make a honey onion syrup. This is a syrup that I learned from Rosemary Gladstar, both from her book and from a training video that I did. Good morning. Thanks for joining. But also, she admits that it's been passed down from her and she really can't remember where the recipe came from. But it is one of these old-fashioned things that does really work, and as weather is changing and we're going to go into that cold flu season, it is something, good morning babe, it is something that's easy enough to make, and if you can basically heat up a tin of soup, then you can do this. It is that easy. So what we're going to start with is onion. The reason that we're using onion is fantastic for a number of things. Morning, Sarah, long time no see. It's great for boosting your immunity, but it's also rich in quercetin and vitamin C, biotin, and chromium. Quercetin is fantastic because it actually helps suppress that enzyme that triggers the release of cortisol, especially when you're stressed out. So it's great for lowering stress and for blood pressure. Hi, Patricia. So that's why onion is really important in this. The second thing that we're going to use is honey. Now, I know some people have issues with honey. I understand that people have a lot of food allergies and things, and generally if you're giving this to a kid, you need to make sure that the child is over about the age of 2 before you start introducing honey. Of course, if you know your child has issues with it, then don't do it. But I am telling you, this has been used for time immemorial. I can remember being a kid and being so excited to have warm toast and butter and honey. So sometimes I just think we forget and get so scared of some things that we've done for a very long period of time. Anyway, honey is fantastic because it helps to boost your energy. Also, it too is rich in vitamin C, also in calcium and iron. Plus, honey has also been historically used as an antiseptic and antifungal. Now, my blend here is both local honey as well as some Manuka honey. I picked the Manuka because, well, every time I traveled over to the UK, I saw it for a very long time, and of course honey is one of the things that you cannot bring back into the US because it has a potential danger if it's not tagged and properly into the environment situation. So when it became available in the US, I was really happy because I know it is really potent stuff. So that's what this mix is. So basically what we're going to do is I have 2 onions. One I've already cut, but this one we're going to just cut in half and then just do in half moon slices really quickly. If you can, try and get organic onions, or at least onions if you know your local farmer's market and you know that they're grown without pesticides. Things that come from the earth, you really need to be a little more careful about. Things that grow like on trees and stuff, I'm not so, that it has to be organic. But when it starts coming from the earth, like any kind of tuber things, potatoes, onions, carrots, I try and get either organic or, like we've discussed before, sometimes getting the label organic requires so much expense that if you do have local farmers that are doing it pesticide free, that's a great way to go. Okay, so I've cut up 2 of these. That last little bit here. There we go, get the core out because I don't want to put that in. And I'm putting those into a pan here. These are old-fashioned, I don't know if you can see, oh well you can now. These are old-fashioned Guardian Service pans from the 40s. They belong to my mother, and I keep them because they just hold heat really well. And that's what you're going to need. And then I also add to it a couple of cloves of garlic. If you don't want to add the garlic, you don't have to. You can also have the option of adding ginger if you like. If you don't want to add the ginger, you don't have to. But I personally, even though I know it sounds crazy, but we do know garlic is also really great as far as antiseptic properties and to boost your immunity. It is going to be pungent and sweet, but that's a good thing. So to that, basically I just want to add the honey, and I made sure that, just really want to cover the onions. And then what you want to do is put this on a very low heat. Now, if you are lucky enough to have a wood-burning stove or an AGA that keeps a constant low heat, you can just put this on the back burner and let it go for a while. If you don't have that, and if you're cooking in a gas stove or electric stove, you just want to keep an eye on it. Basically, what you want to happen is for my spatula out here. You want these to cook down and get soft. What will happen is, as the onions get soft and as the garlic gets soft, it will release some moisture into this. And then what will happen is when they get really soft and mushy, and you'll be able to see that because they'll get a little translucent, and you definitely don't want to do this on the high heat because you don't want to kill the enzymes that occur in the honey. But when it gets nice and squishy, that's when you want to transfer it into a glass container. And whoops, somebody's asking me a question. Hold on. Lemon juice affect the remedy. I use lemon to stop. I'm sorry, you use lemon to stop the, to stop the fumes from the onions. I have never used lemon in this. I've made this before. I just use the onions and the garlic. I hate to say it, but it's one of those things where it's going to be pungent, but it is one of those things that really, it works. And I would save the lemon for something else. If you have an aversion to the onions, trust me, once they cook down, it's not going to be anywhere as smelly. It is going to be a little potent when you're cooking it, but it is what it is. So after this starts to cook down, the moisture will release from these. All of them will get squishy. Now, there are some people that say that they strain the onions out. I don't. I actually let it stay. If there is, right now, let's see, I actually would like to add a little more honey, because I just want to make sure the onions are pretty much covered. But all of this will thin out and cook down. When it does, you're going to store it in a mason jar or a ball jar that has a tight fitting seal. And this is a case of do what I say, not what I do. I have put it in my larder and it has kept for about 4 weeks. Because I think when you start to put honey in the refrigerator, it crystallizes and causes some other issues. Other people say, to be on the safe side, that you can put it in the refrigerator, and if you do that, you'll want to use it within about a month, which is not going to be a problem, because if cold and flu season is right around the corner, all you need to do is take a tablespoon of this a day, or even use it in something else. Now, like I said, some people will strain out the onions after they cook it. I don't, because I just think it adds to the flavor of it, and it becomes kind of pungent but sweet at the same time. And also, when the onions are left over, and I will freely admit this because I am a freak, I will actually save the onions and put them on top of a hot dog or a hamburger, because I like that kind of sweet, kind of pungent, kind of like preserved onion relishy kind of flavor of it. So that's what you can do. Now, if you finish the jar and you still have, I think that's yum. Some people don't. When you finish the jar and you have, yes, I think they taste good. When you finish the jar and you have the onions left, if you're one of those people that doesn't want to use the onions, or you're going to throw them out, I think you're throwing away medicine. But if you are that person, don't try and save them to do a second batch, please. The way that it works is the honey works as a solvent to extract the sulfur and the positive things out of the onion and garlic, the allicin and everything else from them. So it is really best after you use them and after it's all done, either consume the onions or get rid of them. Don't use them for another batch. When you start fresh again. But you can even see now, I think you can see, I'll put it down a little bit further. Fun with a tripod. You can see how this is getting thinner already because the liquid is being released from the onions. So I will need a much bigger jar by the time I put this away, but it'll be fantastic. I can start taking it right away. Like I said, as an adult, you'll probably want to do like a tablespoon a day. If you're trying to fight off colds and flus. If you are like me and get a lot of cough kind of situations or kind of congestion in your chest, it really helps with that. It also just helps if you're starting to get that niggling feeling like, I think I might be coming down with a cold. It is really, really helpful. And like I say, if you make a small enough amount, I mean, this is going to probably fit into a pint jar by the time that I'm done. Then after you're finished taking it, start again. It's as easy as that. And then you'll have it around, and that's, if your situation gets so much worse and your cold is getting worse, of course I'm going to tell you to see a doctor and don't take everything into your own hands. But there are so many things that we can do and take responsibility for our own health. Yes, and this is one of those things that's been, done for a very long period of time. And we just have gotten so advanced in our modernity that we forget about good old-fashioned things that our grandmoms used to do. So that is it for the day. If you follow me on Instagram, later I will show you, once it has cooked down, the bottle that I put it in. And like I said, if you want to be on the extra safe side and put it in the refrigerator, then go do that, because that would be my recommendation for you. I am telling you, my recommendation for myself is I put it in my dark, cool larder, and I'm just fine with it. You are more than welcome. This is really a quick and easy. This is about as easy as home herbal gets. So if you haven't tried it, or you thought, I want to start really, really simply, this is as really, really simply as you can get. An onion, some garlic, some honey, a low flame until everything gets squishy, and you're done. How easy is that? So, thanks very much for coming in today. I hope that you'll join me on Friday. On Friday is Health Focus Friday, where we talk about the latest news that's going through the media about the healthcare industry. Things that you may have heard of, things that you may haven't. Things that you may not have heard of, but we'll discuss anyway. In the meantime, wherever you go, whatever you do, just try and be better people, and I hope to see you soon. Thanks, guys, for coming in. Have a great day.